this prediction that's right up here.
Being single most of my life.
Or just yell at Larry Brooks like every other New York Ranger.
But lost in last week's news was with the firing of JD and Jeff Gorton, both of them that I don't agree with in any way still. I do believe in Chris Drury. Chris Drury is a great hockey mind. He's been being groomed by the Rangers pretty much since he retired to be an executive in this position. Teams have been salivating all over the league to try to get him, much like the way they were trying to get Jeff Gorton on this team. Now, again, I still don't believe they should have fired John Davidson and Jeff Gorton. I'm still wrapping my head around that one. But it should never be lost. Chris Drury has been a winner on every single level that he's ever played on. He's won an NCAA championship. He's won a Stanley Cup. He was a Little League World Series MVP winning pitcher. So, I mean, hopefully Chris Drury can do what he couldn't do as a player for the Rangers, and that's take this team to the next level and have that vision to get them over the top. More often than not, on rebuilding teams, they don't have somebody that can ever get them over the top. They usually have somebody that builds it, somebody else takes over, and then that's it. Just ask Dan Bilesma, who took over for Michel Therrien in 2009 and got the Penguins their first Stanley Cup in 18 years. Hell, or ask Mike Sullivan, who did what Mike Johnston couldn't do. There's lots of cases about that. Drury's got to have his own stamp, and hopefully he's able to make this team into something greater. First things first, address the bottom six. And your second thing after that is what to do about Mika Zibabanejad. There are questions to do with this team, and a roster crunch is coming. I keep talking about this. Everybody keeps telling me I'm crazy, but you can't have 30 players for 18 positions. It's not going to work. So let's see what he's going to do. Let's see what changes he's going to make. How are you going to make the Rangers tougher? Because obviously the league doesn't care if Tom Wilson beats up everyone. So it's one of those things that needs to be addressed. Yes, the rebuild is still happening. It's still on. But it's also getting to the point where the Rangers can be truly competitive, and Drury has the knowledge and the just everything to get this team to the next level, to get them where they're competing for a Stanley Cup, and very soon. So I don't want to get lost in that. Boys?
Well, I mean,
John?
I'm with you on that. Again, he's been around for years. He's been with the team. He made a lot of the hirings and so on happen. He's been there through the whole thing. It really comes down to philosophical differences from the top with, him and Sather and Dolan and, Gorton and Davidson. And you know what? I don't think anybody really wanted to see Gorton and Davidson fired, but we've got to remember there's a lot of interest in Chris Drury. Pittsburgh wanted him to be their GM after Jim Rutherford left. And thankfully that didn't happen. So Drury has also come out and said that he's a big analytics guy, but he also knows that there's a place for old school values within the league. So I was concerned beforehand with Dolan. I'm not concerned about Drury himself. Another thing with that is the fact that when these two were fired, obviously Gorton and Davidson, they took a stand against the statement that was sent out. You want somebody that's going to be on board with something like that. And Chris Drury seems like he's the type of guy that's going to be on board and he's going to stand by his team. If you have guys at the top that don't stand by the team, that shows a lack of leadership. And I've said that from the beginning, top to bottom, no leadership. And Gorton and Davidson were a part of that. So, I mean, I'm happy with Drury there. I think he's going to make the right moves. I think the team's going to be all right. Just a matter of it was a matter of some weird timing, really. A lot of unfortunate circumstances happened that led to this, and I know you're shaking your head because I agree with you. But I mean, getting rid of David Quinn was the right move. They had to, so it's a start, and it's something that I would say 90% of Ranger fans wanted to see. They wanted to see Quinn gone. They wanted to see somebody who actually knew what he was doing with the kids. So, go get Gerard Gallant or get an experienced veteran coach. Go make your moves, whether it's Jack Eichel, Casey Ziga, Sean Corrali, whatever other form of veteran bottom six depth that you need. I think Drury will do that, and I think the team will be fine going forward.
Anthony?
I think he might have froze.
Oh, no, I think I see him moving. Can you hear us?
Anth?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Chris Drury was highly sought after. There were plenty of times teams Can't hear me?
Oh, we can hear you now. It was just
you hear me?
Delayed for a little bit.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. You're good, Ant. You're good. I can hear you.
That was weird. So Chris Drury was sought after from a bunch of teams. So, what? You can hear everything about Drury. I think Drury doesn't have a difficult task because the Rangers core is in place. He doesn't have to make many, earth-shattering moves. They got a lot of talent. He doesn't have to totally strip it down and rebuild. So he's got a lot of good pieces in place. He needs to tinker with the lineup a little bit, as we mentioned, add to the bottom six, and then get a Jack Eichel type of player. So overall, I think the Rangers, he took over a team that's in pretty good shape thanks to Gordon. Now it's on him to put his stamp on the team and see if that stamp can take them to the playoffs. I do agree with John. I think Cizikas would be great for the Rangers, which I have to actually, Mark, every time we bring him up, you've always kind of shook your head. What about Casey Cizikas makes you hesitate or I don't want to put words in your mouth.
$3.5 million for a fourth line center. That's what makes me hesitate.
I don't think he's a fourth line center. I think he's a third liner that's playing down on the fourth line because they have three better centers in front of him.
I think he's also a guy he's taken a jump because of the Trotz system. I like him. Look, I like him. But if you're going to ask me what I want for a fourth line center, I want a Dominic Moore. That's what I want. I want a guy that wins face. Basically, the same thing Casey Cizikas brings, except I want him cheaper.
Islander?
Yeah, I don't want to be an Islander, but I want him cheaper. That's all I want. I have a feeling if Casey Cizikas became a New York Ranger, it would be a disaster.
I'm going to tell you right now.
No, go ahead, John.
I'm going to tell you right now, I have a feeling that Ryan Strome and possibly FIlip are going in that deal for Jack Eichel. So they get Jack Eichel, then they bring in Casey Cizikas to be the third line center. Then you can go get a cheap fourth line center, or you can even stick with Kevin Rooney.
Or Morgan Barron.
What's that?
Or Morgan Barron, who's looked decent.
They need to add some skill in the bottom six, and they need to add grit, veteran depth, a good penalty killer. I would say to you right now, it could look something like how the Rick Nash trade looked in 2012. I think that would definitely be a trade that would be a comparable trade. So at that point, you're looking at a Pavel Buchnevich, a Ryan Strome, and then maybe even a FIlip and a first round pick, and they move that to Buffalo for Eichel. And then you go get your Cizikas to be your third or your fourth line center, preferably third, I would say, at that point. And then you've got some talented wingers around him that can maybe boost his offense up. So Casey Cizikas to me is a perfect fit.
What I was going to say was, you got to remember, it's still a flat cap next year. So regardless if it's with the Islanders or another team, I don't know if Cizikas is going to get 3.35 again. No. He very well could, but I I don't think so. I mean, look at Matt Martin went from making $2.5 million to 1.5 this year with the Islanders, so he took a pay cut. I think a lot of players are going to have to take a pay cut.
Alex Pietrangelo.
And actually, speaking of Matt Martin, if Matt Martin didn't stay with the Islanders, rumor has it the Rangers would have liked to get him, but thankfully he never decided to go to the market. But it just goes to show, different Gordon's gone now, but it goes to show the type of player the Rangers probably want to bring in. Physical players to play in the bottom six. But, Drury, I think Drury's a capable good guy. I think he's going to make the right decisions. Again, I think he already re-signed Ryan Lindgren. I assume he's going to re-sign Buchnevich. Obviously, he's going to re-sign Shesterkin. Will he deal Orion? I think he'll only deal Orion Strome if he's getting a better center back in return. I mean, I'm not sold on Ryan Strome, but listen, he plays Panarin, so for the time being, he produces. So I don't know if he'll tinker with that. But who knows? We could go. He can go many options. I know we're talking about Jack Eichel, but he could swing a trade for another big name player, that fills the role too. So I don't know. It's gonna be curious, but I definitely think he's gonna make a move. Like I said, he wants to put a stamp on his team, and the Rangers are, they're trying to get back to the playoffs, and the Hurricanes coming back in the division, the playoff format the way it is. It's going to be tough, so he knows that, and he's going to probably try to do everything he can to get them to get in. It's just going to be hard. Unfortunately, the Metropolitan Division is tough. I mean, think about it. Who could you say definitely not going to make the playoffs next year? Buffalo and I'm sorry, Buffalo's not in the division anymore, but New Jersey, Columbus.
Columbus is the thing.
Columbus
is the only one
seems
I
to
would
be
say definitely.
Columbus,
but who knows? Jersey's got things in place for their rebuild. I mean, Jack Hughes takes a jump, then that can change everything.
Yeah, but who are they gonna? They're not going to be better than Pittsburgh or Washington or the Islanders, even the other teams, the wild card teams. You think they'd be better than the Panthers or the Bruins or the Lightning or the Maple Leafs? So it's going to be the Flyers. I mean, the Flyers are going to make changes too. They're not going to sit on their hands. They're going to make some moves. It's going to be tough. And that's what Drury knows. He's in a dogfight. He's in a dogfight, and I don't think he's going to alter the course to try to do something like drastic to get them back in the playoffs. But he's not also at the same time. He's not going to sit on his hands and do nothing. So it's going to be. It's going to be really interesting, but they're in good hands. I think he's a capable general manager, and the only thing I would have differently, I wouldn't have fired Davidson. I think there's no need. Davidson should have stayed as the VP, but
John Davidson being the main principal said, "You get rid of him, you get rid of me." There it is.
Mark, I think you called that last week. You were right about that, but I mean, looking back at the flat cap, look at what happened with Alex Pietrangelo. A lot of experts were predicting between 9 to 10 million a year per him, and some even said he could get over 10. Because he's up there with the best of the best in the league. And then he ended up getting 8.8 from Vegas. I mean, this flat cap is affecting every single player. So you got
no profits last year.
What's that?
No profits last year.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's not going to be much better this year, just because they had fans, but only for certain teams for the first part of the season, and then other teams started adding at reduced capacity as the season went along. But not every team had fans, so someone like Zizekas, the trickle down effect is going to hurt him on the open market too, because he's going to get less. But the Islanders, I don't even know, even with the trickle-down effect, if they can afford him with all the cap issues that they might have going forward. So I honestly think that Zizekas is really ripe for the picking. That's why I'm saying Zizekas. It makes too much sense right now for the Rangers.
Just to clarify a couple things, in the beginning of my editorial, I said he's going to have to figure out what to do with Mika Zibabanejad. I mean the fact that Mika Zibabanejad has 1 year left on his deal. So if you're going to be keeping Mika Zibabanejad, you're going to have to figure out how much you're paying him. Re-sign him as fast as possible before his market value shoots way through the roof, and then he's going to be unattainable for the Rangers. And then you have 3 $10 million players. Not many teams succeed with that.
Nah, Mika Zibabanejad, he's another one. Flat cap.
Yeah.
Slow start. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets too far above $8 million.
And for you, Anthony, I still remember Ray Ferraro as a New York Ranger. So if there was anybody that hated this team, Ray Ferraro, John McClain, Pat Flatley. I mean, these are all guys that I saw don Ranger jerseys.
Bruce Driver.
Yeah. But I mean, Bruce Driver, he was
Bobby Holt.
Yeah. I mean, Bobby Holt. Oh, yeah, Bobby Holt. There's another one. I mean, I'm in shock about a lot of guys that I've seen become New York Rangers over the years. So, and it really doesn't surprise me. But what do you think about Chris Drury? And how's that going to work out? Do you believe in Chris Drury? Sort of like I believe in Harvey Dent. I mean, well, before half his face got blown off. So, put it all in the comment section below.
Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.